Lashana Tova. May your year be sweet and healthy and happy. I've decided to make a video on the making of challah bread. Y'all have enjoyed that, but on Rosh Hashanah, or Yom Teruah, which is the day of shouting, Feast of Trumpets, it's today. It starts tonight, this evening. On that day, I make challah bread in a round as a crown, or a head of the year, or to symbolize may you come out ahead this year. But for Messianic Jews, or people who follow Torah, who believe in Yeshua, it is shaped in a crown, and we see it as the day that Yeshua will be crowned king. This is the day of the king. And so we have it in the shape of a crown and see it like that. I love that I have many Jewish friends who believe in Yeshua, and those who don't. And I honor you either way, and I love you. And I just want to share this recipe with you, and I'm thankful that it was shared with me, so I can share it with you. I'm going to put the ingredients together, and then I will roll it out and cut it and show you how to make it into a crown. So here we go, and thank you for your grace and mercy. Okay, so I always start with 1 cup of hot water. Now this is not boiling water, this is just hot tap. And so that's usually around 105 degrees, okay? So I'm gonna add that into my mixer. It's much easier if you have a mixer, but you can do it by hand. Okay, so that's 1 cup. Then I take 1 tablespoon of just basic rapid rise yeast. And then I take 1 teaspoon of basic salt, kosher salt. And I start mixing on just low. All right, then a trick, stay right there. A trick is you're gonna need 1/4 cup of olive oil. So I always add that first before I add my 1/4 cup of honey. So add that. Then if you do that first and then you add your honey will slide right out of your measuring cup. Okay? See? It slides right out. So you need that. And then, let me stop this just in case. You need 1 egg. And I always stop the mixer when I'm adding an egg in case I get a shell in there. Okay, so start it back up. Always keep your yeast in the fridge or it'll ruin. All right, now we're going to add in 3 cups of, I just use basic all-purpose flour. You can use bread flour if you want, and that's fine too. But there's 1, and then when you're putting flour in, don't pack it in. You never do that. All recipes are based on flour, and you're just placing it. You could use a knife to make sure that you have, correct amount, but you can eyeball it too. Plus, you're going to be adding a little bit here and there when you start to knead it. But right now, we're just making the basic dough for 1 large challah bread. And this time I'm going to be making it into a crown because this is for the Feast of Trumpets, or Yom Teruah, or the head of the year. And so this is when the Messiah will be crowned. So that's why we make it into a shape of a crown. So if you look in there, it's going to start forming a ball. And see there? It's grabbing from the sides. That's exactly what you want. It's doing great. I don't even need to add any more. All right. So now we're going to let this just set for 30 minutes. And I'll come back and we'll knead it. And I'll show you how to braid it. And that's it for now. Okay, so I have put together all the ingredients. You saw that just a few minutes ago. And I let it rise, and it has, I mean, obviously at least doubled in size. So what we're gonna do is, I have some flour here. This is just basic all-purpose flour. I put in about 3/4 cup. And I'm gonna make a nice surface here to knead all the dough. And you can just scrape it out real easy. Okay, that's it. All right, and then on top of that, I add more flour. Okay, so you're gonna start kneading the flour, and you're going to knead it until it is no longer sticky. And I'm sure people say, you know, knead it 5 minutes or something. Well, it doesn't really need that. But I mean, I do it until it's no longer sticky, because even if it has some holes in it, well, people are still going to eat it and they're still going to love it. So I just wouldn't worry yourself too much on that. Okay, so like I said, this time we're making challah bread, but we're going to make it into a round or a crown or a head, as it's the head of the year, the beginning of the new year for the harvest. So this is the beginning of the fall feasts. We're going to have this one. 10 days later, we have Yom Kippur, or a Day of Atonement, and then 5 days after that begins Sukkot, or the Feast of Tabernacles. And what I'm doing here is I'm laying it out, and I'm going to get it into a rectangle. By the way, this over here is a pear liqueur that I'm starting. That should be fun. I guess I could make a video on that too. Anyway, so that's part of our harvest, is the pears. So we make this into a rectangle. We're getting there. And so you can see some of the bubbles are popping. I just don't worry about them. Okay, so your whole goal is a basic rectangle. So in just a minute, I'm gonna set this all out, get it nice and ready for you, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we've got it to a decent rectangle. This is probably about 8 inches high and, I don't know, 13 or 14 inches wide. Okay, so you're going to also cut it in 6. And by the way, if you want to know how to do just a regular challah bread, I have that video as well, and I'll probably point to the link in the comments. Okay, so you do 1, and I always use a pizza cutter. It's so much easier. Don't try to fuss with a knife. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now this one, what you're gonna do, let's put a few of them to the side. Okay, so you're gonna start, and we're gonna go like this. cross over. And we're going to take another one. So this needs to be more in the middle. We're going to take a third one and go like this, all right? Then you weave. So now we're going to go under and under, okay? Then we're going to take one more, and this one is going to have to go over, under, and over. Okay. Now what you do is a basic braid. And you braid each side. See there? Sorry. Okay. And you can probably do a braid. If you don't, I'll show you how in just a minute. There. Okay, so you take one and you cross over, and take one and cross over, take one, cross over, cross over, cross over, cross over, cross over, cross over. See there? And I'm just trying to connect them here at the end. That's all. I'll show you what to do here in a minute. Okay, cross over, cross over, cross over, cross over, cross over, cross over. Okay, so see what we got here? All right. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to tuck. And you're going to tuck this under here. You're going to tuck this under here. And tuck this under here. And then you're going to fold it all in under itself. See that? Now that's just pretty right there. Okay, and then I'll show you what to do as far as setting it. We're going to let this set for 30 minutes, but I'll show you how. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just putting, I don't use oil, I don't use spray, I just use flour. And I put it on the bottom of it. Okay, and you're just going to take this that you just braided before it rises, and you're going to put it right on top. Shape it the way you like it. And then we come back, we're going to put an egg wash on top and some salt. Now some people mix in, since this is the harvest of the fall, you have things like raisins and grapes and apples. People actually mix in the raisins and the apples and all these things in here. So it's kind of a different, this is just a basic challah though. So, okay, we'll come back in a few minutes. We're gonna let this rise for 30 minutes. And then we will put an egg wash on it and then bake it. And it's gonna be baked at 350 for 28 to 31 or 32 minutes. Okay, so now we're at the point we have let it rise for about 30 minutes. And so I'm gonna do just a basic egg wash. So it's just an egg, I mix it with my pastry brush. Now, when you put it on, you have to be very, very, very careful not to put it push too hard, or you're gonna just make a big old dent in that bread, and that's not gonna be pretty. So you have to cover the whole thing, and this puts just a nice glaze on the top. Now, if you wanted to, during this time, since it is during the feast of Trumpets, or Rosh Hashanah, which is the beginning of the new year, and celebration of all the harvest coming in, well, that's actually but anyway, it's a celebration of the harvest. If you wanted to, like I was saying, you can add raisins and nuts or whatever you wanted to put in there. Apples, people do that. But what you could do, and I've done before, is when I'm actually making the challah bread, you could add like a teaspoon of cinnamon to the dough itself, or At this point, you could sprinkle cinnamon sugar over the top. Oh, I just got that on me. Yucko. Anyway, sprinkle cinnamon sugar over the top of this. And it would be more of like a dessert bread. But oh my goodness, it's so good. But we're doing just basic challah bread. So this is kosher salt. And I usually add about a teaspoon of salt. This white reminds me, you know, at the beginning of the year, this is the time when we hear the trumpet. There's going to be a loud shout, and it's believed that, I mean, the old is gone, new has come. We are new creations, and we will be changed in the twinkling of an eye very quickly. And that's why a lot of people wear white on Yom Teruah or Rosh Hashanah. Okay, so we're gonna let this bake. I have it for 350. We're gonna put it in the oven for about 28 to 31 minutes. And we'll see you there, and I'll show you what it looks like. So this is the finished product. It is a big bread. I mean, look, that's the cookie sheet size there. So, I mean, it is, it's pretty big, but it is really good. Here's to a Happy New Year. Here's to the crowning of the King. Here's to being changed in the twinkling of an eye. Here is to the day that no man knows, the idiom for Feast of Trumpets. My best to you all. Would love your sweet comments. Thank you for your love and encouragement. Baruch HaShem Adonai.